army shaking. What exactly happened? Jungkook suddenly takes the biggest decision of his life for his mother's sake, and HYB fully supports it. But why did this decision actually trigger controversial comments from other BTS members? Is this the beginning of an internal rift? Or is there some envy that has been hidden all this time? The army can't believe it. Jungkook made a shocking decision for the sake of the family, an action that HYB supports but triggers the jealousy of other members. What could make a Jungkook, golden magne who always seemed calm and obedient to the path set by the agency, suddenly step out of that line for the sake of his family? Why does this decision make some BTS members make unusual comments? And why did HYB, who is usually very strict in managing each member's steps, choose to be silent this time? Army around the world was in uproar not only because of Jungkook's unexpected decision, but also because the reaction of the other members was even more surprising. No one expected that a personal decision that was supposed to be full of meaning and love actually turned out to be the trigger for BTS's internal controversy. Is this a sincere form of love from a child to his mother? Or is there something deeper that has not been seen so far? It all started with one simple sentence that Jungkook said in his live broadcast a few nights ago. With a trembling voice, teary eyes, and a long pause in the middle of a sentence, he said, "I think it's time for me to pause. For Mom." The sentence stomped like lightning in a cloudy sky. The army who watched live immediately flooded the comments column with panicked sentences full of question marks, and not a few who cried. But it's not over there. A few hours after the broadcast, HYB issued a brief statement. Brief, but harboring great pressure. "We respect Jungkook's decision and give our full support for his choice. This is a family-related decision. There are no details. There is no long explanation. There is no exact time. But that's precisely why emotions burst out. Speculation skyrocketed wildly. What happened to Jungkook's mother? Why did HYB immediately agree to such an important decision? And why, moments later, came a comment from some BTS members that actually sounded sarcastic? Taeil wrote one sentence on Weverse that night. "Not everyone can get a dispensation like that. But we still have to smile, right?" A sentence directly linked by the army as a form of satire. Does this mean that there is tension between them? Is Taeil jealous? Or is he just disappointed that not all decisions can be accepted fairly? Jimin, who is known to be very close to Jungkook, wrote something much more ambiguous. "Sometimes, love makes us choose things that others cannot understand. But at least we're honest." This sentence makes the atmosphere even hotter. The word honest is immediately interpreted as emphasizing that perhaps not all decisions in the group are made with total honesty. Is Jimin being critical? Or just offend? Suga, who is usually silent, suddenly posted a childhood photo of the five of them. Without a caption, without context, but powerful enough to make millions of ARMY cry and wonder, is this a symbol of nostalgia? A symbol that something has changed permanently? And HYB? They remained silent. No further clarification. No defense. There is no explanation for the members' comments that seem to contradict each other. A gesture that HYB rarely did, especially when rumors began to smolder. But this time, they chose not to stop anything. Does this mean HYB knows Jungkook's decision is too sensitive to be deterred? Or are they deliberately letting things flow, even if it means sacrificing BTS's harmony? Question after question sprang up, especially after news spread that Jungkook's mother was undergoing treatment abroad and that Jungkook himself had secretly set up a private home away from the other members' dormitories. Is this a farewell signal? Is Jungkook really going to take a long break to be with his mother? And why is he the only one who gets such great freedom? One of the staffers, who did not want to be named, reportedly said the decision was not made suddenly. Jungkook had already expressed his wish a few months ago. But all this time he was detained, until finally his mother's condition worsened. He can't take it anymore. He has to go. He must be next to his mother. And he doesn't care what people say. That sentence, when true, suggests that this was a decision from the heart of a child, not a celebrity. But the world wasn't always that simple, because when someone like Jungkook, an international icon, the golden face of BTS, the pillar of a giant fandom called ARMY takes a big personal step, then that decision isn't just his personal business. The world demands an explanation. Fans demanded clarity. And the other members seem to have their own opinions. Some Korean entertainment observers have called the decision a time bomb that has been seen but not exploded. All this time, the public saw BTS as one whole body. But when one part begins to move in different directions, the body is shaky. Especially if the decision has the full support of the highest authority, that is, HYBE. Does this mean that HYBE has favoritism? Is Jungkook really the golden boy who can get an exception? It's not fair. The phrase appeared many times on various ARMY forums. Not a few began to compare with the decisions other members had made and how HYBE treated them. Will this be a trigger for the split? Is jealousy really starting to eat away at the BTS family? But is it fair to judge a child's love for his mother as a form of privilege? Is it when Jungkook chooses to be by his family's side that he should be accused of being selfish? Or maybe there are indeed old wounds that have never been revealed, and Jungkook's decision only rekindles the sense of imbalance that has been kept tight. Jin, who is still serving in the military, reportedly sent the group a message that was leaked to the public. Do what you have to do. But remember, every decision always has a long shadow. Is this a form of support or a warning? No one really knows for sure. For the first time in a very long time, ARMY felt a real crack in BTS's togetherness. Not out of hatred, not because of an open split, but because of love and its consequences. Jungkook just wants to be by his mother's side. But the world demands an explanation for the loss. And the members who had always been seen as one voice suddenly had a different tone. Is this the end of togetherness? Or is it just a painful phase of their maturation process? Will Jungkook's decision trigger a bigger conflict? Or is it just the beginning of an honesty that has been delayed and the most painful to ask? Can they go back to the way they were before? This story is not over. But one thing is certain, love is complicated. Even when it comes from the purest place, a child to his mother, and as the world watches, the slightest decision can become a storm that shakes things up. It didn't take long for the media to start speculating. Bold titles began to appear. Jungkook out temporarily? HYBE can't stop it. Or tension increases, BTS members show coldness. As if everyone wanted to emphasize one thing. The situation can no longer be considered normal. One Korean TV station even replayed an old broadcast showing a warm interaction between Jungkook and the members. But in the broadcast, there was one moment that netizens again analyzed with different glasses. A backstage scene, where Taeil taps Jungkook on the shoulder and says, "Don't be so quick to make big decisions." At that time, it was considered a joke. Now, all changed meaning. What exactly was hidden all this time? Is there an imbalance that other members have long felt? Or rather, has Jungkook been secretly carrying the heavy burden of a family he never shared? Some longtime ARMY members who have followed BTS since their debut recall the moments where Jungkook looked the most fragile when he talked about his family, especially his mother. "Mom is the reason I stay here," he said in one of the documentaries. But now, precisely because of the mother, he decided to stay away. An irony that breaks many hearts. And when word got out that Jungkook's mother was undergoing treatment for a serious illness abroad, with no clarity on how long her recovery would take, it all felt like a heartbreaking puzzle. Jungkook never mentioned the disease publicly, but his decision, supported by HYBE without hesitation, indicates that this is no small matter. I ask this why HYBE didn't dare to stop Jungkook? Do they know that just one rejection can erase the trust that has been built? Questions did not cease to flow among the ARMY. Why are important decisions like this not discussed together transparently by all members? Why isn't there a joint press conference as is usually done when BTS makes a big decision? Does this mean that the members are not one vote this time? J-Hope, who has always been known as a balancing figure, also posted a poignant line. "Not all breakups happen because we want to leave. Sometimes we leave because we love too much." This sentence immediately became a trend in Korea. Many consider that the sentence is a form of empathy, but not a few also see it as a form of subtle protest. On the other hand, RM, the leader of BTS who usually mediates in all chaos, chose to be silent. Not a single post, not a single comment. But the silence of RM actually saved a big shock. Because, as many armies said, if Namjoon is silent, then it means that the situation is more serious than we imagine. However, the real storm came when news emerged that Jungkook had asked HYB for permission directly to cancel several international advertising contracts. The reason? I don't want to be seen smiling when my heart see. The day came without announcement, without live broadcasts, without a single official statement from HYB, but all know that day is everything. 1 by 1 the black cars stopped at a simple wooden building on the outskirts of Seoul. Not HYB's office, not the studio, but the old family home they once lived in when it first debuted, which is now being rented back for one crucial moment. The table and camera. There are no managers, only 6 seats and one empty. Yes, that one seat remained empty for more than 40 minutes. All members were present. RM, Jin, who received a temporary discharge from his military duty for this meeting, Jimin, V, Suga, and J-Hope sat without a word. No smiles. No hugs, just silence, and one question hangs. Is Jungkook really coming? And then footsteps. The old wooden door opened slowly. Jungkook stood in the doorway. His face is not what it used to be. Not a big smile full of passion, but a deep, burdened look, and tears. He looked at them one by one. No greeting. Just one sentence instantly makes the room freeze. If you want to get angry, I'm ready. But if you come to listen, let me talk first. Silence. No one answered. But RM made a small gesture with his hand. The chair, which was empty, was no longer silent. Jungkook sits down. And for the first time since the shocking news came out, everyone heard directly from Jungkook's lips the truth they never imagined. I never want to disappoint you. Jungkook opened his voice with a trembling voice. But I have to choose, not because I want to leave BTS, but because I want my mom to live. Everyone looked at him, holding their breath. But no one was more devastated than Jimin, who was sitting right in front of him. Your mother sick? Jimin almost whispered. Jungkook nodded. Rare diseases. It took a long treatment and experiments abroad. I can't leave him there alone. J-Hope gritted her teeth, not out of anger, but out of guilt. Why didn't you tell me from the beginning? I'm afraid you feel weak. I'm afraid you guys think I'm using family for an excuse out of responsibility, Jungkook said softly. But what I'm most afraid of is you stop believing in me. This time it was Jin. The voice is low and heavy. We didn't stop believing, but we got hurt because you chose to go alone. Tears flowed down Jungkook's cheeks. I'm not going away from you guys. I just want time. But when HYB agreed and gave me permission without talking to you first, I knew it was going to be a mess. And this is the culmination of the meeting. V, who had been silent, finally spoke. The sentence is sharp and cold. If you believe we're family, why would you make a decision like you're not part of us? The sentence hit like a hammer in the middle of the table. Jungkook is down. RIP before it all gets out of hand. This is not the time to blame each other, he said. If Jungkook feels he has to be by his mother's side, then as a family, we can be disappointed, but we have to stand behind him. But is it that simple? Suga, who is known to be the most rational, actually raised new questions. If HYB gives preferential treatment to one member because of personal circumstances, what about us? We also have a family. We've lost too, but never allowed to take such a step. Suga's sentence became a kind of new explosion. And sure enough, from here, the conversation shifted to become deeper and much more honest than anyone could have imagined. HYB is indeed unfair, Jin said suddenly. I know they're afraid of losing Jungkook, but the way they protect us makes us feel discarded. Silence returned, but this time not because of the cold silence. But since they all came to their senses, they've all been harboring the same wounds, and amidst all the emotions hanging in the air, Jungkook got up from his chair. He approached each member, hold their hands, look into their eyes, not to apologize, but to utter a phrase that can only be born of deep love. I will never really leave. But if I have to choose between BTS and my mother's life, you know I can't pretend to be strong and choose both. You know that. And at that moment, Jimin stood up, pulling Jungkook into an embrace. If your mother needs you, then you should be with her.